The nostalgia candy in my hand disappeared.
Good heavens! Mr. Roe dear, have you been surviving on candy alone? That's not good at all!
Like magic, the missing nostalgia candy appeared in Braun's gloved hand, only to vanish once again with a flourish. As I clapped my hands together, Braun bowed theatrically like a magician.
Where did the candy?
Mr. Roe dear, your first meal in a month was going to be an ancient, dusty old candy? Oh, this is an insult to catering itself!
The host snapped his fingers.
Some say the passion for creation is born from hunger, but my philosophy is a bit different! First, let's have a proper meal!
At Braun's request, the faceless staff opened the door to my dressing room, greeting me cheerfully. A white tablecloth was laid over the table in the corner of the room, and in perfect synchronization, dishes were set one after another. Steam rose from the plates. Western cuisine. A full-course meal that should have been served dish by dish was instead arranged all at once.
Since you didn't submit a request, Mr. Roe dear, I took the liberty of selecting tonight's menu. Once you finish eating, you'll feel revitalized!
That's when I realized it had been a long time since I'd last seen warm food. Seated across from me, the host's TV screen displayed a cheerful emoticon as he waved his utensils from side to side. Somehow, the surroundings felt darker. It was as if the spotlight was focused solely on the meal in front of me. My silver ring reflected the light from the table, momentarily catching the glow before being overpowered by the shine of the fork. I hesitated, then picked up the utensils, but as I debated what to eat first...
And for your drink! Ah, Mr. Roe dear, you mentioned you liked grapes, didn't you?
With a smooth motion, a curved glass bottle filled with ruby-red liquid landed on the table.
This is an exquisite vintage! A gift I received while hosting the quiz show. But now, it seems fitting to open it in celebration of your successful debut, my friend.
Absent-mindedly, I read the label's production year. The same year the happy ending Teddy, tonight's guest, had been released.
Did you match the vintage to the guest's production year?
Ah, I do appreciate an observant audience. That's correct. It's a congratulatory gesture. After all, this was your first time on stage! Ah, such details are essential for any great entertainer, Mr. Soleum. I hope this serves as a valuable lesson.
Braun personally uncorked the wine. The ruby-red liquid swirled into the crystal glass before being placed in front of me.
Now, shall we have a toast?
Refusing at this point would feel awkward, but for some reason I wasn't particularly eager.
Oh dear. Does it not suit your taste, Mr. Roe dear? It seems I failed to understand my friend's preferences. How shameful for a host!
Feeling pressured, I quickly lifted the glass.
Isn't it? Please, enjoy it at your leisure.
I picked up my utensils. Strangely, the more I ate and drank, the clearer my mind became. As if my exhausted body was finally absorbing much-needed nutrients. No, that wasn't just a metaphor. That was exactly what was happening. I thought I was in good condition. Maybe I was more drained than I realized. Of course, I'd be feeling, I haven't eaten in a month. Logically speaking, there's no way a human could go a whole month without eating and still be fine. Goodness, am I only realizing this now?
Mr. Roe dear, is something wrong with the food?
With every bite, my thoughts sharpened. Even if I wasn't fully corrupted by this darkness, I must have been affected in some way. Had my mind been foggy this entire time? Even after arriving here, all I did was throw myself into work. Had I been too giddy, thinking I was finally free from fear? I should confirm this. I instinctively reached for another piece of candy from my tattoo inventory, but hesitated at the last second. I'd need the great host's permission after all.
Braun, could you return the candy you took earlier? I've eaten, so I figured I'd have a little dessert.
Oh, I see! Very well!
Braun placed the candy back into my palm.
Here you go, Mr. Soleum!
Now I remembered for sure. This candy restores my body to its peak condition from the past 10 years. This was how I survived in Sekwang Technical High. I popped the candy into my mouth. It just felt like I had confirmed something I already knew. This probably means that my current condition is the best it's ever been. They say stress is the root of all illness, so maybe people really do need to find work that suits them. From now on, I should at least try to eat properly instead of just working non-stop. Even if working at a supernatural talk show made it feel like skipping meals didn't affect me, it clearly had an impact. Now that I think about it, working non-stop was a bit strange too. Placing my now empty wine glass on the table, I spoke with a serious tone.
Braun, no matter how I think about it, I need to bring this up. My employment contract. Shouldn't we discuss things like vacation time and salary?
Braun gave me an unenthusiastic look, out of character for him, then pressed a hand to his forehead. His TV screen displayed a sighing emoticon.
Of course, my show's crew members are guaranteed ample vacation time and silver. I must say, I'm baffled. What exactly were you told on your first day?
Was I too out of it from not eating? Come to think of it, my memories of the first few days here were oddly hazy. I even seem to have lost all my belongings from Daydream Inc. What a mess.
Sorry, but I'd still like to negotiate my work conditions properly now.
Of course, Mr. Rodeer!
With a full stomach and a clear mind, I had a fierce negotiation session with the host. The final contract included 2 days off per week, summer and winter vacation leaves, 50 silver coins of the uncanny, and a biannual performance-based bonus.
Then, let's finalize the contract by the end of this week! Now you'll be officially employed at the talk show. Ah, that's right! While hosting today's live broadcast, I had a sudden burst of inspiration! That's why I originally stopped by your dressing room. But when I saw you breaking your month-long fast with candy, I was so shocked that I lost my train of thought. Good heavens!
Sorry. So what was the idea?
Braun pointed at my forearm with his gloved hand.
Your tattoos, Mr. Rodeer!
I lifted my arm and glanced at the text. The makeup had started wearing off, leaving my forearm blotchy and uneven.
It must be a hassle to get makeup done every time you appear on the show.
Oh, and knowing you, Mr. Rodeer.
You'd rather work through your break than sit still for that.
So, with that in mind, why not erase them completely?
Think about it. It'll save time and free you from unnecessary burdens. Wait a second. Aha! Is there something bothering you?
These tattoos have been useful in a lot of ways.
Ha ha ha! Oh, come now! That was back when you were suffering at that joyless, underpaid job! But now, Mr. Soleum, you're part of this splendid talk show. No matter where you go, you'll be treated well. You could even get free Sunday ice cream at boutique parlors. Come, let's clean up these messy little scribbles.
Especially the inventory tattoo. It could even be used for some entertaining moments on the show. Like pulling out props from my arm as if by magic, surprising the audience. Even if I didn't step on stage, it'd still be useful. Helping the staff move sets or lights in a pinch.
Why should I get rid of something that's already useful? Really. I'm only asking because I don't understand.
Braun clasped his hands together.
I see, Mr. Soleum. Now that you've eaten and regained your strength, you're showing more of your true self. Very good! In that case, I'll look into alternatives. I'll find something that offers a similar effect. You're even aiming for a magician's tricks now! Such passion! It's truly moving! Ha ha!
Braun's TV screen displayed an emoticon wiping away tears.
Then enjoy the rest of your break, friend!
The host watched as the catering staff thoroughly cleaned up my dressing room before finally waving goodbye and stepping out. I sat down on the sofa. Since I wasn't scheduled to appear in the next show and the guest booking and production meetings for this week were already done, I had some free time. Might as well do some organizing. If my tattoos might be erased, it wouldn't hurt to go through my inventory and sort things out. And since I just realized I lost my old belongings from Daydream Inc., I should also take stock of what I still had. I reached into my inventory tattoo and started pulling out items, laying them out on the table one by one. Most of them are still intact. Everything except items from the company was intact, but the blood bathtub isn't here either. That had been in the bathroom too, so it was gone. Even the company-issued special equipment was still perfectly fine. Among them were things I hadn't made myself, some were gifts. I pulled out a tiny black button. Assistant Manager Yoon Haeji's comms button. Could this be the button section Chief Lee Jahyun was talking about? It seemed like an invitation to stay in touch. I'd have to test it out once I got some vacation time. Smiling, I pocketed the button. Then, past emergency rations, the Happy Maker, blood-sucking knife, wrapper, and the Necronomicon. I spotted the red button.
We can help. 66,666.
There's no way he was talking about this button, right? This was something meant to be pressed only in a life-or-death emergency. There was no reason to push it just because I had comfortably settled into my new job. Absent-mindedly, I placed it on the table. There was barely anything left inside my tattoo inventory. Oh, wait. One more thing. A paper bag with a theme park mascot printed on it emerged. Inside was a dragon-shaped churro. I can't even remember when I got this. Didn't I sell one to a disaster management bureau agent, then kept the rest? Still, since I had stored it in my inventory tattoo, it hadn't gone bad. I was about to place it on the table when I got a strange feeling and took a closer look. Previously unreadable text was now legible.
A healthy snack for children.
A healthy snack, huh? Is it safe to eat? Well, Braun did allow me some candy. And he did tell me to eat properly. If I erase my tattoos, it might go bad. I might as well eat it now while I still can. It'd be a waste otherwise. I bit into the churro. The crisp, popping texture was reminiscent of cheap junk food, but it melted in my mouth and went down easily. Something surged up from my throat. Dark blue water began pouring out of my mouth. The salty scent of seawater filled the air. It gushed out uncontrollably, flooding the talk show's waiting room floor. I couldn't breathe. What kind of healthy snack was this, you goddamn... No cursing. But what the hell do I... No. Oxygen was running out. My mind was going blank. I was going to die. With the last of my strength, I slammed my hand onto the table. My fingers fumbled desperately through the scattered items until I wildly flailed my arm, slamming my palm down on it. Water streamed from my eyes, nose, and ears. A deafening alarm exploded inside my head,
Emergency call confirmed.
and my consciousness was wrenched away.
Supervisor Kim Soleum.
What the ever-loving fuck? Or at least I thought I did. The world was pitch black. There was nothing. I couldn't see, I couldn't feel. No touch, no smell, no sound. Nothing. There's nothing at all.
Squad Leader Lee Jae-hyun.
The entire world shook.
Please hold on a moment.
Suddenly, my vision returned. I saw my waiting room half flooded with water, the same scene I'd seen just before losing consciousness. But I wasn't seeing it directly. It felt like I was watching through someone else's eyes, like a CCTV feed floating in front of me. The view shifted, scanning its surroundings. The angle changed as if checking its own limbs. My wrist tattoos flashed into view. Someone else was controlling my body. And my vision started walking. Hold on, don't tell me.
Wait a second. Squad Leader, are you moving my body right now? Was this triggered by the We Can Help button?
Wait just one damn second. The We Can Help button, bought from an alien shop, had summoned Section Chief Lee Jae-hyun.
Are you, by any chance, an alien from the space shopping mall?
Also dubbed as the Alien Shop. A bizarre creepypasta about a mysterious site that sells high-priced, supernatural, and extraordinary goods. The very place that had allowed me to acquire all kinds of useful items and equipment. Chief Lizard is one of the aliens from there. I tried to swallow, but then flinched, realizing I had no physical body, because right now my body was being occupied by Chief Lizard. So instead, I asked him directly. A question so absurd, I could hardly believe I was saying it. Then what kind of connection does he have to the site? I was curious, but that wasn't the priority right now. The immediate crisis had been averted. I looked at my dressing room through the CCTV-like view that my consciousness was observing. The dark blue water that had flooded the floor was now pooling and fading away, leaving the room mostly intact, aside from a bit of a mess. I still had no idea what exactly had happened, but from the looks of it, when I was ejected and Squad Leader Lee Jae-hyun took over my body, the situation had stabilized. At the very least, I wasn't vomiting water anymore. That's such a relief, seriously. Thanks to Squad Leader Lee Jae-hyun, my body hadn't died. I let out a mental sigh of relief and spoke.
Anyway, thank you. Now that things have settled, please, leave my body.
Squad Leader Lee Jae-hyun?
Initiating emergency escape protocol via distress beacon.
My vision abruptly moved. No. Squad Leader Lee Jae-hyun in my body suddenly swept all of my belongings from the table and stored them into the tattoo inventory. Wait, what is he doing?
In 3 minutes, I will authorize the Sacred Fire Bombardment.
Wait, please don't do that.
What kind of insane nonsense was this? Bombardment?
Why are you even using something like that right now?
As part of the distress beacon's optional features, all available armed forces from the Coalition are mobilized until the user is transported to a secure location. In the process of extracting Supervisor Kim Soleum,
This damn lizard, no, this reptilian alien. Grinding my metaphorical teeth, I demanded.
Why do I even need to escape?
I hadn't been in danger. I had successfully changed jobs and was living a fulfilling, enjoyable life at this talk show. So why the hell was he acting with some prison break? It had already been over a month since I'd left Daydream Inc.
I've settled in well at my new workplace. I'm doing fine. And there's no danger at all.
Honestly, I should be grateful this happened during my break. If this had happened during a live show or a meeting, I don't even want to imagine the disaster it would have caused. So now that things were resolved, just return my body, and
When was the last time you slept?
before I joined this talk show, so
For an organism to survive, food and sleep are essential. The fact that you do not require them suggests that you are closer to a supernatural entity than a natural being.
I had become a ghost story.
That's not true. I'm not corrupted. I can still think properly, and my sense of judgment hasn't changed.
Then why was there water flooding your dressing room?
Because I ate a churro.
Are you referring to the healthy snack for children churro you claim to have received from Cheerful Theme Park? Under normal circumstances, the probability that you would consume food of supernatural origin without hesitation would be extremely low. Why did you press the distress beacon?
Because I was drowning. The water was so overwhelming that I couldn't breathe.
And yet, in a state of suffocation, you chose to press an unknown supernatural escape button without any knowledge of its origin or effect. You had once debated for hours whether to press this button in Death Lane, ultimately deciding against it after listening to your superior's advice. It is natural to seek help from others.
Had I unknowingly started using ghost story artifacts as if they were just ordinary daily necessities?
You have been bound to this darkness.
That's not true.
That at least I could confidently refute.
I can leave whenever I want. If I just ask Mr. Host for vacation, I can leave.
Is that what you have always called that talk show host?
Even if he was my business partner, Braun was still the one running this show. So wasn't it natural to address him respectfully when working? I was starting to feel uneasy. Squad leader Lee Jae-hyun used to be my boss, but now that I had quit, he was nothing more than a passing acquaintance. Wasn't this level of interference in my personal life crossing a line? Shouldn't I feel offended?
Supervisor Kim Soleum.
But right now, Section Chief Lee Jae-hyun was the one controlling my body.
Don't launch those bombs. Do you know how much effort the staff put into this show?
I desperately argued.
And nobody is actually dying, so...
Every audience member invited to this talk show receives a thank you card the next day. The card is sent to the medium through which they applied for tickets. And on this card, there are detailed instructions on how they can meet the most impressive guest from that night's episode. Some audience members become entirely entranced by the talk show. To meet the guest, they willingly step into the darkness.
I felt a phantom heartbeat pounding through my non-existent body. I recalled the audience member from yesterday. The one who had wanted to adopt the happy ending Teddy. The way that Teddy Bear had stared at them. At that moment, I felt it. A deep, instinctive revulsion.
We have confirmed at least 3 cases of audience members who were definitively killed or went missing.
Even though I had no body, I still felt sick. This was a mental reaction. A reaction to the horrific realization that was dawning upon me. What have I been doing all this time? What kind of show was I working for? Braun never promised not to kill anyone from the audience. He only promised that I wouldn't be afraid. I had simply convinced myself of the wrong conclusions. We're always something unknown. Always.
Supervisor Kim Soleum, you need to escape this talk show immediately.
My mind turned ice cold. I wasn't contaminated. At least, not back when I made the decision at that train restroom.
And I think I've been looking at this all wrong.
I had overlooked something. A person doesn't have to be contaminated to make bad decisions. People fall for scams. People commit crimes. People make mistakes, have misunderstandings, and maybe this was one of those times.
For now, Leaving the talk show and taking some time to think might not be a bad idea.
Time to be alone with my thoughts. If I still had a body, I would have run a hand down my face in frustration.
You cannot take down the host in this studio with that method.
The moment we're caught, we'll be incinerated. And if we were lucky enough to only be fined for damages, I might end up working here for eternity. Unpaid, until I died, or even after I died. The fact that I felt that wouldn't be so bad was the most terrifying part of all.
Do you know where the studio's exit is?
I don't even know how big this studio is. I know that it has an impossibly vast number of sets and storage rooms, but I have no idea how many floors it has, or how far each section extends. At some point, I naturally started memorizing the paths within the staff-only areas, but everything beyond that was still a blur. In the entire month I've been here, I've never once left. And why would I? My waiting room was comfortable. I never felt the need for food, water, or sleep, and I was too busy adjusting to my new job.
But just walking out through the exit without even requesting vacation would be stupid. It'd be better to sneak out in Stee.
Were you about to suggest sneaking out?
No, that's impossible.
Even the thought of sneaking out was meaningless, because
The host always knows where I am.
I checked the tag. Because of the good friend contract, the one I had called would be able to find me forever. No matter where I went, he would always be able to follow.
Do you want to try persuading him to grant you a vacation?
If the host asked why I needed a vacation, there was no way he wouldn't notice that Section Chief Lee Jae-yeon was inside my body instead. And even if I spoke to him myself, I'd probably end up being persuaded instead. Persuaded to happily return to work on the talk show no matter how many audience members died. The legendary host of a supernatural talk show wasn't just someone with exceptional speech skills. He was something so utterly terrifying that his very presence felt like a paranormal phenomenon in and of itself. The only reason I'd ever been able to scare my good friend before was because of the restrictions of the good friend doll.
Even if we destroy half the studio, you will still be immediately found by the entity that poses a threat to you. Is that assessment correct?
There was no way out. Or rather, even if I did escape, it wouldn't matter. It felt like a perfectly sealed space. There's always a gap somewhere. The host doesn't know that I called Section Chief Lee Jae-yeon using an item.
Section Chief, how long can you stay in my body?
I can maintain this state for up to 60 hours. Additionally, the summoner cannot manually deactivate the effect. The emergency call function will only deactivate once the summoner has safely escaped the danger zone.
That was an interesting choice of words. But that time frame was plenty. Enough time to wait for an opening.
To prepare, we'll wait.
I forced my nerves to settle and began thinking.
Until just before the talk show begins.
Preparations for the live broadcast were underway. Most of the staff were busy moving between the backstage and the main stage, setting up equipment. Normally, I would have used this time to check the equipment or talk to the host. Sometimes I'd even attend meetings or observe different departments. I might be part of the production staff, but I'm not part of the cast. Since I wasn't part of the on-site prep team but rather worked as a show creator, there were no specific tasks assigned to me during the live broadcast, which meant I could move however I wanted. I could act as if I were on an errand, or pretend I was looking for something. I could even wander from place to place without drawing suspicion. I was frantically searching the empty parts of the studio, now mostly abandoned by the faceless staff. I was looking for one thing.
There should be a waiting area for guests.
I was sure I had heard about it before. There's a guest entrance. Every guest had a place they originally belonged to, and the studio had set up some kind of accommodation to make their arrival smoother. Of course, finding the waiting rooms was a challenge in itself. The moment I stepped beyond the waiting rooms and staff areas, I completely lost my sense of direction, like being trapped in a maze. But Section Chief Lee Jae-yeon, he's unbelievably fast. Is he seriously brute-forcing it right now? Even though he was controlling my physical form, the sheer speed and strength of his movements made it hard to believe it was the same body. My shared vision flickered rapidly as he checked multiple pathways and signs in mere moments. His performance is exactly the same as when he's in his own body. Maybe Chief Lizard could exert that kind of power and endurance in any body. But the real problem was, A faceless staff member stood before me, gesturing as if to ask why I was here. They tilted their head, then made a motion, as if offering to escort me back, assuming I had lost my way.
Tell them I'm running an errand and will return shortly.
The faceless staff didn't insist twice. They disappeared around the corner and came back with another staff member. If I had a body right now, I would have swallowed hard. If I looked suspicious here, word would immediately reach the host. And if that happened, I'd find myself happily hosting the talk show again. All of my doubts would be neatly erased, thanks to his kind and persuasive reasoning.
They're offering to complete the errand on my behalf.
That won't be necessary. Please say that I prefer to do it myself. It's not a big task, so I'd rather complete it quietly as a new employee.
Fortunately, the staff member accepted that reasoning and left. It seemed they had no time to waste with the live broadcast approaching. Continuing the search, this feels like I'm piloting a robot 10 times stronger and faster than me. Suppressing my nerves, I continued monitoring Lee Jae-hyun's vision as he searched. There were a few close calls, but we managed to avoid trouble. The door in my vision swung open. The CCTV-like view in front of me now displayed a dimly lit, antique-style corridor. Rows of doors lined the corridor, each still bearing the nameplates of the guests who had appeared over the past month. None of them had been replaced, as if a new one was used for every guest who appeared. A strange, uneasy feeling, one I hadn't noticed all month, began creeping over me, even beyond my skin.
Please find the door labeled Happy Ending Teddy.
The view shifted rapidly, and soon enough we found the door. The light above today's guest waiting room was glowing brightly, but I ignored it, and instead approached the door next to it. A door with a dimly flickering light, yesterday's guest waiting room. The dark waiting room had yet to be cleaned, and everything inside was scaled to fit the size of a fabric doll. Traces of the teddy bear remained, as well as remnants from the process of making one. I tried my best not to look at the scattered body parts and bits of skin. Luckily, since Section Chief Lee Jae-hyun was the one controlling my body right now, it wasn't too difficult to avoid focusing on them. He quickly scanned the room. Then finally, he found something.
It's a dollhouse door.
One side of the wall had a small, brightly colored door, barely reaching my waist, almost like a child's toy.
Let's go through there.
From my point of view, my hand reached out and opened the tiny door, then crawled forward, inching through the darkness. A faint light appeared ahead. The view suddenly brightened. A modern hallway came into sight. In stark contrast to the classic elegance of Braun's studio, this place had a contemporary design. Concrete walls, painted surfaces, and from a distance, voices echoed,
Now, introducing today's featured item, a miraculous product that transforms your hair into living snakes.
the absurd voice of a home shopping host promoting a ridiculous product. Delusion Home Shopping. Since the show had received sponsorship from here when the Happy Ending Teddies made its guest appearance, I figured this passage might lead to this place. I let out a sigh of relief. I'd done something similar before in Death Lane, escaping from one's ghost story by slipping into another. Since this is still a broadcasting studio, Braun might take a little longer to notice my absence. Besides, the live broadcast was about to start soon, meaning he wouldn't have time to come after me. Or maybe I could even find something useful here to prevent Braun from tracking me. With Section Chief Lee Jae-hyun's strength, there shouldn't be any danger here. I was willing to bet on that. The view moved as he stepped forward into the bright hallway. I suppressed my excitement and said,
Chief, first, let's find something discreet but useful.
I was dangling in midair. Someone was holding me.
It looks like you took a wrong turn, friend! I don't think you were trying to leave the studio. The hallways can be quite confusing, can't they?
A massive, truly massive, TV screen loomed before me, displaying a friendly, smiling emoticon.
The live broadcast is just around the corner, so I had to call you back this way. Now, take a nice break! You'll find it much more comfortable this way!
Below, an enormous gloved hand had me by the scruff of my neck, then gently.
Oh, I've experienced a body before, so I can assure you, seeing it again is rather nostalgic. My dear, good friend!
The shimmering lights of Braun's late-night talk show flashed before me. The stage, the audience seats, and everything was gigantic. On the black TV screen, my reflection stared back at me.
Now, just sit back comfortably and enjoy the talk show. It'll be starting soon!
I became a plush doll.